Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Been a busy day. Good gracious. In fact, this sitting in this vehicle right now is the first time I've sat down in a few hours. I have not stopped, but that's the way things go. My mother used to say, it keeps you out of trouble. You know, an idle mind, idle hands is a devil's workshop. Well, I think I fixed that by just staying busy all the time. So I haven't had a chance to look at too much today because I've been busy all day, nonstop, hanging sheetrock, smoking meat, processing meat, hanging sheetrock, things like that. Anyways, so gold is well above $4,100 an ounce today. And silver's up above $50 an ounce, like 51, I think. And Bank of America and a few other big institutions have come out with new numbers on gold and silver. They think that silver will easily break above 65 an ounce, and gold above 5,000 an ounce. I think that's very conservative at the rate that we're going. I had a young person that I know. I mean, I say young, he's a man, he's an adult, but I mean, he's young enough to be my child, but hey, I'm getting old, so I guess that's not saying much. But anyways, someone that I know, kind of mentored, and he called me up a couple of days ago, and he was asking about investments. Now, he's a young guy, and he's, very into tech. He knows way more. He's one of my go-to guys. Hey, what does this mean, because I'm old now, and I used to be up to date on all the technology, and I mean, I could sit there and type out DOS code like nothing, and HTML code and everything. Now I have no clue sometimes. But anyways, so he calls me up because he knows all about crypto and everything, and he's like, hey, so should I be putting money into gold and silver? Should I be switching some things around? He's young, he's single, he's not wealthy by any means, but he's trying to be smart with his life. He's like, what is the deal? So I was giving him the full explanation and explaining to him, because he hears a lot of stuff online and everything. I said, you have to understand that this is not gold and silver that is going up in price. I mean, yes, I just said it. Oh, gold went up, the dollar went down. That is the type of language we should be using, and I think it's part of being conditioned that we say it this way because everything in the world really has been based on the U.S. dollar for so long. It's not just in America. I mean, yes, it's predominantly in America, but if you go to most places in the world, value of things is based on U.S. dollar for the most part. And so I was trying to explain to him. He got it. He understood. And I was telling him, I said, don't think that you're too late to buy into it. And don't do it as something that you're going to, turn around and trade. I said, this is a not just long-term investment, but it's a way to secure your wealth. So anyways, the point is that as much as we may hear in the social media, the news media, in the White House, and all these other places right now, today especially, that, man, things are amazing. Because, there's a peace deal that's being signed in the Middle East, even though there's only been a week's worth of peace. And not even that. I mean, Hamas is executing people in the city streets of Gaza. Who knows? So there's a lot of hoopla about that, and there has been about many other things too. But no one wants to talk about the fact that our currency is losing its value rapidly. And it's not just that it's losing its value, because there's another part to it. It's losing its prominence. That's why gold and silver are going up, because people are not as interested. They're not interested at all in many ways. not just in using it as a currency for trade and barter, but using it as investment, because that's what a lot of big money people do, is they invest their money in the US dollar because it's a solid security. Even yesterday I read Warren Buffett. Now Warren Buffett, at what point, I think he had more wealth in US dollars than like the U.S. government had or something. I mean, it's because he's always had a huge portion. He sold off the last few years. He's been selling off massive amounts of his stock portfolio and investing in the U.S. dollar. Well, that's changing, and now he's advising people to not do that, to not put your money in the U.S. dollar because it's not stable. So if this is Warren Buffett, the guy that has a ton of money, literally more than a ton, billions in the US dollar, has put billions in the US dollar, and he's advising people to not do that anymore because it's not stable. There's all kinds of other financial gurus and stuff that are saying that. We've got multiple nations out there that are becoming less and less interested in using the US dollar as a trade currency, and they're not buying U.S. debt. Just again this past week, the U.S. Treasury bought $2 billion of its own debt because no one else would. This should be a wake-up call. We're getting to the point that there's just about only two possibilities. One, we're just going to have a complete collapse of the currency. Things will hyperinflate, and it's going to look like, something between Weimar Germany, Zimbabwe, Venezuela, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, or whatever. That's a possibility, to where, America just overnight almost becomes a third world country because the currency is just nothing. The other possibility, and I think that this is the more likely one, I think this is what they're planning on doing. Now, whether it'll work out or not, we'll see. That they will make this very quick, quiet switch to stablecoin cryptocurrency. And the average person isn't going to know. The average person isn't going to care, because I think the way I'm looking at things and what I've read, for the most part, on the surface of it, you're not going to notice much difference. The vast majority of money that is spent, the vast majority of, let's bring it down to the basic consumer, right? You're paying bills, you're buying food, you're buying things, you're paying for your gas, that's where your money, the bulk of your money goes to. Yeah, you're trying to save up and stuff, but the bulk of everything that the average consumer, the average person earns, goes out to buy things or to pay for bills. And the vast majority of that is all done digitally. Very, very few people are writing checks or using cash. And so it would be a super simple, easy thing to just switch everything over. Like, oh, well, here's a little notice in your bank account, this is now blah, 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 but everything else is okay, don't worry about it. And I think that the average American, because they're so plugged into the matrix, there's such this zombie drone, that they're not even going to notice it. Now, eventually they might notice it, when they go to purchase something and they have less money than they thought they did. And it's not that they don't, that they just change the value of it. Or they go to purchase something and they're saying, well, now you can't. Or they go to get cash because they want to go do something that needs cash, and like, I'm sorry, no more cash, don't have that anymore. So eventually, yes, but in the beginning, I don't think it's going to be some big chaotic pandemonium, chaos type thing. I could be wrong, but I think that's what they're planning. And I don't think it's that far away. I don't think that we're decades away. I don't even think that we're years and years away. I mean, we may be a year or two away, a couple of years, maybe 5, and that's really stretching it. I mean, I think 5 would be really stretching it. Need to wake up to this, folks, because once this happens, as bad as the U.S. dollar is, it's at least something that you can have somewhat control over. Once this transition happens, freedom is gone. We're no more. Well, once this happens, you will no longer hear me talk about America being any kind of land of the free, anything. It will be done, over. And from that point on, we're just acting out a little play. I don't know. We're done. We've lost at that point. It's why you need to be becoming really self-sufficient. It's important. Gold and silver, I think, is good to have. I don't think you should be dumping everything you own in it, but you need to have preps. You need to have some land. You need to be putting seed in the ground and have some animals and have some skills and some tools and some equipment and all that kind of stuff. But it wouldn't hurt to have gold and silver. I think it's actually really good. I think that even now we can start using it. In fact, that's this next meeting, which is this month, October 26th. Is that right? Yes, October 26th. Had to think. Here in Missouri, where we have our big monthly meeting, we've been having these things for almost 6 years now, every month. And we are going to be doing a big demonstration and lecture and all that kind of stuff, whatever you want to call it, on using gold and silver to buy things. We're teaching. I'm not going to be doing it, but we're bringing in experts. They're flying in. They've already got their flights booked and everything. They're flying in, and it's going to be a really big deal. They will be teaching you how to take gold and silver in your business, how to use it on a day-to-day basis. Missouri it's recently signed into law the absolute best gold and silver as currency bill in the United States. Yes, other states have that, but none of them are even close to as amazing as Missouri's bill is. It's really good. It protects your gold and your silver from federal seizure, and all kinds of stuff. It sets it up that gold and silver can be used, as a currency, like it's supposed to be. And so, like I said in the beginning of this video, we're so tied to the US dollar, the average person has no understanding of how to do that. How do you do that? You're going to sit there with your phone and every day look up at 10 times a day and look up, oh well, gold is trading at such and such dollars an ounce, so well that's do the math. And how do you do that? That's what we're going to teach. That's these experts coming in. They're good ones, really good. So yeah, if you can make it to that meeting, you're going to learn a lot, because I'm telling you, yes, there's wars, there's peace, there's talk of peace in the Middle East. So peace, then comes some sudden destruction. It sounds so end time-ish what's happening. Germany's intelligence agency says that Russia is ready to attack NATO, invade NATO at any moment, any day now, any day. There's been reports of Russian troops building up along the border, I think in Latvia or Finland or somewhere like that. So we'll see. There's still a lot of crazy stuff going on. But I'm telling you, this gold and silver stuff is wild. And you need to be getting ready, because we're about to go through a change that not a single person on this planet, especially in this country, has ever experienced. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be good. Get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.